Welcome back to another one, boys and girls. I'm surprised it keeps working on the first try, but yeah. Anyway, jumping into it, let's get all of Walter's feelings from everything last weekend because there wasn't a lot, but there's enough to talk about from across a few different disciplines. I didn't get to see any of the USAC stuff, but again, I'm not giving them that much money to be able to watch USAC stuff. So,
as we were just talking, in a couple more months, I might have enough extra money just from canceling other services to justify not having to cover that no more.
Hey, could work out in your favor.
Yeah. All right. So last weekend, we raced at Tomac Speedway in Ohio for USAC sprints, not to be confused with Silver Crown. The winner was Brady Bacon.
Bacon?
Yep. Brady Bacon. Yeah, that's his name. I'm not exaggerating that one.
My dude.
I
don't care who you are.
The top 10 was Brady Bacon, Robert Bello, CJ Leary, Chase Stockton, Kyle Cummings, Logan Stevie, Justin Grant, Jaden Rogers, Emerson Axum, and Jason McDougall.
So we have a Bacon and a Cummings.
Yep.
I mean, I know people that have that exact response. And eating bacon.
5 of them, lo and behold, guess where they're from? Indiana.
Oh, I mean, it's a hotbed. What can I say? It's a hotbed. Look at all the guys that have come out of there.
Just a shout out to Justin Grant. I like him. Outside of that, one of the things that ran was the trucks and the cups.
SuperCross. Don't forget that SuperCross.
Oh yeah, SuperCross.
If you didn't watch it, which I'm sure because again, there's a million racing things, and you have this weird thing called a life. I mean, the only thing that I really have to say about it, I mean, I did love that when they do the events, when they have the 250s, like East and West running together, like, so you get to see all the talent with them. I thought Tomac ran a smart race. I mean, there were guys that went down and got really hurt. Like, remember who it was, but dude went down and broke Nicoletti, I think it was, blew his arm in pieces. I mean, there was a few bad ones, and Jet Lawrence decided he wanted to play, crash test dummy and wreck out on lap 1 like twice. In a heat race and the main event. His older brother won, but I mean, like, it seems to be a recurring thing. Like, dude, she's down. Oh, look, he's up. Sadly, though, I mean, I just don't think with the way they have like the bigger tracks like Daytona or Atlanta, like if you go down to one of those, like there's not, like, you're coming back to third, fifth or third. Top 5 is amazing, let alone making it back up to third, just because those tracks are not built for you to be able to go. Yeah, it's just, in my opinion, it's easier to come back at other tracks than it is with what they put together at NASCAR track infields.
Definitely.
So
it's kind of like a short track. You go down there, you go down a lot.
Yeah, like it's there's just more. I mean, there's people doing more technical stuff on the inside ones because they can't do it. Like, it's just, that they're not conducive because of how they can set those up way bigger and different than they can do inside of a tiny arena any day of the week. But yeah, Hunter won. Jet came back to third, so both of them got to be on the podium. And Tomac was smart, and he can lock it up this weekend. All he has to do is not have like complete and utter catastrophe, and because he's still up over 50 points, in the championship, and there's only 2 races left after this one. So as long as he keeps, nothing catastrophic happens, he could literally lock up the championship.
If I remember correctly, it's 62 or 63, and you locked it. If you're 62 or 63 points ahead, I think it was at the 3rd race left in the season.
After this one,
you've got it locked.
Yeah, after this one, I mean, what's 25 points a race? So I mean, all he has to do is just don't screw.
Just gotta lock it this race, and don't drive like an idiot the rest of the races.
Yeah, just
don't even have to win the rest of them.
Don't even have to show up the rest of them.
Just butt around the track.
Like you could
Don't
start and
crash.
be like, me, okay, well, I'm done. Good night, Cleveland. But yeah, so that he could do that this weekend, but we'll get into all of that. I'll say yeah, I mean, they already got my feelings on all that, but I thought the racing was better at Bristol this year. Again, it wasn't pouring down rain on them all weekend, so it made it a lot easier for the track to not completely suck. But yeah, I thought it was better, and it was nice to see people not punching each other in the face because they cost them their first career win, instead going down and saying, "Yeah, I shouldn't have let you get to me, man. Once I went down there, I knew I was screwed." Like, yeah, don't worry. Everyone watching went, no, no, no.
Oh yeah.
But they shook hands and they walked it off, and they didn't throw fists at anybody while wearing a helmet. But what was your feelings on all of that?
Well, so did you already go over the truck stuff?
Well, man, I did it on my own. Like, it's just
okay.
This is your feelings on the dirt weekend altogether. This is your time to shine.
At the truck race, I was very happy with how Stuart Friesen was doing. I kind of wish he had finished better, but
there you go. When one teammate tries to go under another teammate and when they get into him, I mean, I was happy he came back to 11th. I mean, it showed that he was one of the few guys that showed you can pass there and get through it, no matter how much people complain.
Matty D was obviously not the top 10 again. He had issues. But I will say he did finish on dirt in 15th and inferior to a degree equipment.
Oh yeah, to a degree, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
But outside of that, it was obviously the top 10 was Ben Rhodes, Hosford, John Hunter Nemechek. I kind of was rooting for.
I was looking for, well, just because of what happened to him, but seeing Hocevar in second was cool, and Ben Rhodes disproved everyone's theory that said you can't pass there. Granted, if there wasn't 7,000 cautions, he wouldn't have been able to pass that many people if they were all strung out. It's easy to pick them off when you're getting them like 2 at a time because of a million restarts, but Ben Rhodes looked good. I was kind of disappointed by Crafton.
I was Crafton. I was, going down that line. John Hunter Nemechek, I was pretty happy. I wish he would have won, but Ben Rhodes made me happy. So
I can't complain.
After that, you had Parker Klingerman, took 4th, my man. Christian Eckes. Then you had Ding Dong and Doofus, Logano and Elliott there. They took 6th and 7th, Infinger in 8th, Crafton in 9th, then Zane Smith in 10th. But I was very pleased to see people using bumpers because that's the short track racing. I know short track racing, right? I like a couple times. I didn't necessarily like the door and I was seeing, but hey,
you know, I mean,
if you come down on somebody in a corner with your door, you deserve to get shoved to a wall. Now, if you come down and race with them, that's one thing. If you come down and shove your door to their fender, you deserve a wall. Or at least to the wall's direction. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Sorry, I got very sour.
They all proved they could run.
Also, the track was not quite as tacky during a truck race as it was during the Cup race.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Grand Rain took a toll on it.
You know, I mean, that sprinkling wasn't helping, but they also had more. They also ran way more miles on it as compared to the truck race. And well, the truck race, every time the truck race got going, there was another caution. At least the Cup race didn't get. I mean, the Cup race did get silly at one point, but it wasn't like that truck race.
Not as many as the trucks.
That truck race had my just hand and fist. Just.
Speaking of Cups, I have to give credit to. I know I'm going to get credit for this. I have to give Kyle Busch credit. What he said after that race was very true. He did nothing wrong. Sat there, waited his time, let the other 2 guys go at it. He just happened to get lucky and get by them when they did something stupid. Now, I will give Tyler Reddick absolute credit and kudos for still one coming in second. But if he would have moved up another 1.5 feet, Kyle wouldn't have got around him. So that was one of those things where if Christopher Bell could, I'm going to talk about him in a second. If Tyler Reddick would have just been able to get up another 1.5 feet, I think he could have won the race.
I mean, could have. And at that point, he was like, just go.
Yeah. But with that being said, Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, and Christopher Bell. I was absolutely, well, I knew what to expect out of Chase Briscoe just because of his background. But from Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick to do as good as they did against him and Larson, I'm very happy. Granted, Christopher Bell ended up finishing back a little bit further.
20. Oh, I mean, at least he wasn't as bad as Briscoe.
Well, yeah, I know. But I don't think there was, honestly, outside of Reddick, Briscoe, Logano, and honestly, Bell, there wasn't very many people legit the whole race giving any of them guys problems.
Yeah, and there's something that seems about what they like, just, I don't know if it's the banking or what, but Kyle just does not seem, Kyle doesn't get in his groove there. Larson, not Busch. I will go and say Kyle, I mean, like what? I just happen to be right place at the right time. What? A win's a win any way you can get it. I do remember less positive words coming out of your mouth when you led pretty much the whole race. And then Bowman ended up beating you, like led the last lap. And then you called him a useless hack. And you were all pissed off. And then you get one, a win's a win. And you're all, hey, I'll take it any way you can. It's okay. It's a Gibbs thing. And well,
I will say he was right to defend himself when he said, I didn't even do anything.
Hey,
this time. Like I just happened to be sitting there when those
he's like I couldn't even see what they like. Suddenly,
oh yeah, there was no way he was seeing past the smoke and stuff they were creating. It was.
He was just driving this thing. Next thing you know, like, oh shit! I mean, he only beat him by like a couple feet. I mean,
yeah, it was. I think they said the front of the wheel. So 4 inches of tire and then the bumper.
Kyle stole. Yeah, Kyle. I mean, hey, right place, right time. Can't hate on him. It's not like he went in there and wrecked everybody so he could win. He just kind of was going. He just, his spotters up there going, "What? Go, go!"
I gotta give some credit to three other people too.
Briscoe took out Reddick. Go.
Yeah.
Do it.
Todd Gilliland. I was really proud of how well he did.
Yeah.
Michael McDowell.
Good to see him up there.
I wish either his team could get it together a little bit better or he could get in a better car. So I think if he could just get a little bit better car. The only thing that was working in his advantage this time was it was a short track and dirt. If that had been a longer track, I don't know how well he would have done.
Yeah, I mean, he's normally in short tracks, road courses.
On tracks
and then obviously super speedways, but short tracks and road courses where it takes actual skill and a lot, like he's normally always up there. It's just,
and I know you're not going to be happy with me saying this, but I want to give Ty Dillon props.
10th.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like half the field wrecked out by then, but I mean, no, they didn't. I'm just being a dick. Don't worry, I said it on Monday. Like in that damn Ty Dillon.
Yeah, I was mind blown.
Yeah, hey, gotta give. Hey, I went on there and I gave props to Bubba.
I don't think
for how good Bubba was in at certain at practices and stuff during great light. I'm still nice to him no matter how much I think he's a tool.
I think they need to find a fill-in for Kevin next year or have Matty D drive his car to Bristol because.
Oh no!
He needs to quit with the dirt shit.
I even said it's I was like, yeah, that was a mercy killing.
Tony needs to get him.
That was a mercy killing. But he was already miserable. He was lapped inside the first 13 laps of the race. But him having that happen, I'm like, what? That was just God showing mercy. Like what? Look, now you don't have to do it anymore.
Well, then I don't remember who it was. They were trying to keep him on the pit road. He's like, he's trying to go back to the garage, and there was somebody they're trying to flag in the stand pit. He's like,
his tires only pointed that way.
When his right front is pointed literally 90 degrees the way it's not supposed to, he's not staying on pit road. There's going to be jack stands, jacks, air involved. There's going to be a lot involved with that mess.
You couldn't have kept him.
Yeah, good luck keeping him. Yeah, he was not happy, but
he was pissed the whole time. Every time
I have to point this out. And you know what? I wish I'd have pulled up. I can't remember last year's now. I wish I'd have pulled up. Do you know where Matty D finished last year at Bristol?
Oh, I had it wrote down. He was right in the top. I thought he was in the top 15.
Well, do you know where Harrison Burton finished?
Nowhere near the top 15.
26th. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, less.
I am going to do this every week until somebody from Woods gets a hold of us and says, sorry, we made a mistake.
Someone from Woods is like, what? It gives us, suddenly I'm getting a cease and desist order in the mail. Like,
good.
Stop. That'd be like, at least I know I can't, apparently I'm doing something right. But guess what, guys? I'm pretty sure Matty D was like 12th or so. And
you were getting top 10s and a couple top 5s with Matty D. I don't foresee that happening with Burton. I'm just going to put it out there every week where we're at.
And the throw, and just a quick one, as we're on, we're going to talk nonsense about, we still have the cup race to talk about. We'll get back to Harrison Burton. But I was nice enough to share his throwback to his dad on the Facebook page. And I was like, it doesn't matter what the car looks like, he's still going to suck. But I decided to be nice and just share the picture. Well, you can put big old black number 3 on that, and you can put him in one of Senior's cars. What? He'd still suck. You can give him one of Petty's old cars. He'd still suck.
Get one of Earnhardt's championship cars, and he'd still suck.
Like, you could put him in Larson's car from all the cars he drove, like, to win.
There you go. Yeah, put him in Larson's car right now, and he'd still
suck. Granted, it's not all his fault. They moved him up to.
No, you're right.
We will get
where he's at right now.
We will get back to him. We will get back to him before I just keep. Yeah, let's decompress from him sucking. Let's move on to something that we like this weekend, which thankfully is tomorrow afternoon. I'm kind of stoked that they're running it. Yeah, afternoon races for Supercross because it's much more exciting to look at, just because it's not obnoxiously late at night. It's easier to get a hold of it. It's easier to watch it because who doesn't have plans on the weekends like at night? But beautiful track they put together at Foxborough. I don't have anything to bring up like stats wise from last year because they didn't run there. I'm pretty sure because of COVID protocols, so they couldn't go there. So it's going to be a whole new thing. But overhead shot, I mean, that's not a bad setup they have going on there. I kind of dig it. We all know I'm a fan of those things, so not bad. They could have done more creative things, but they fill up the stadium nicely. And again, Tomac can lock it all up as long as he doesn't do anything stupid. And well, if Jet Lawrence ever hears this, make it through the first damn turn. Maybe you should learn how to just. We're talking about there's a limit to your vehicle and your bike. But I'm pretty sure you
back off 10% a couple seconds sooner.
Like you have figured, like you can pass anyone. You're that fast. But let's turn that down, because sooner or later, I know you're 18, Jet, but sooner
your body's gonna scream.
Sooner or later, your body's it bounces back now. Like your body's not going to enjoy taking a few dives every weekend just because. Just calm down. One or two of them haven't been your fault, but you've had more bad luck than Malcolm Stewart did with Jason Anderson, and it's not a good thing. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I just hope he locks up. It's on tomorrow, 3:00 NBC, I do reckon.
Yes.
So it's gonna be a good one. I mean, they're long, but if you record it, then guess what? You could at least fast forward through all the talking, which makes it way easier.
I highly recommend.
Yeah, like it's just, oh my god. And then if you
watch, then watch it live.
Unless if you watch it on Peacock, I mean, their fast forwarding sucks so bad. Like that whole how you still can't figure out how to have a fast forward thing that when you hit play again, it actually stops fast forwarding, and that without crashing the app. But you actually can get through a lot. Like they cut all the commercials out on Peacock, and you can fast forward through all of the talking. And here's this, that, just get to the racing. So it's got to be good racing regardless. I mean, they got a beautiful track set up. I don't think I sent them to you, but beautiful setup there. It's really easy. The track, I mean, it's not like easy, but I mean, there's nothing really too crazy.
Another thing though is when they space them out like that, because that one's definitely not as compressed as other tracks like you were referring to a second ago. But when you have them spread out like that, I feel like you can recoup better. Like if you get off for a second, it's easier to get back on in a less confined and compressed track. Yeah. I know I've seen other tracks where you get off, you got literally from the edge of this lane, you to the next lane over on the next side part of the track, you literally only have 8 to 10 feet. That usually goes like this.
Yeah.
Getting back up out of that's kind of difficult. Whereas if you have it spread out 20 or 30 feet between each lane, you can get back up on a track a lot easier.
And this one, it's tight confines where the lanes are, but it's nothing like overly done is what I'm going to say. It's not overly anything stupid like that. So you can actually have, it's not as you're trying to go back up on the thing, climbing Mount Vesuvius. But I'm looking again. I just want to see him. I want to see Jet Lawrence not go down for the 7,000th time in the first turn on lap 1. It's like his thing. So many times he can come back, and I want to see Tomac lock it up just because. I mean, he earned it this year with how much dominance there was for that month and a half straight. He earned it.
Like I said, just finish this and the rest of the races without wrecking out. As long as you do that, you'll pretty much.
Granted, I mean, like he wouldn't have had if Jason Anderson, would have just left Malcolm Stewart alone. He wouldn't have such a big lead because, they kept wrecking. Malcolm got that cost him probably, that cost him a lot of points, but should be good. F1 race should be good. I mean, I can barely pronounce
I'll cover that. I got that in my list of stuff.
The Imola Grand Prix at Autodromo Enzo E. Dino Ferrari in Imola, Italy. It's on again Sunday at 9 a.m. You know what that means? We can actually watch it without going, what time does that say? There's some races where it's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning where they're racing, our time. You're going, that's why man invented DVRs, but I'm excited just for the sprint race just because it's different. They qualify, then they do the sprint race Saturday, then the lineup from that's how they're going to start the race. Top 8 get points for the championship. Like, it's just different. And last year Max won. So, I mean, I think he could do it again this year because I don't think Lewis is going to be nearly as strong as he was last year when he got second. And then Leclerc and Sainz, I mean, look what they're doing right now. So I think it's going to be, it's going to be Max and his teammate Perez, and then the Ferraris with Sainz and Leclerc, and then the Mercedes will fit in there somehow because they always get a podium somehow. Mostly that's because everyone
I think you're
else
pretty right though, on taking it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I agree with you on that one. I think there's going to be I think over the next year or two, we're going to see a lot of changes when it comes to who's winning what consistently. Just for the fact that I think everything is changing across all the sports. I mean, whether it be track locations, the way they're setting vehicles up anymore, or everything's spec now. But it just depends on the series, obviously. But a lot of changes last year and this year thanks to COVID.
Yeah, and a lot of guys this year are running Indy guys have new stuff going on with their cars. F1 guys have their whole new cars. The Cup Series has new cars. And I think it's all going to even out by like halfway point of both seasons. I still think Ferraris and Red Bulls are going to be miles ahead just because they're going to be, if it keeps going this way, the Red Bulls will be more screwed because, in constructors championships and stuff, because they just keep having problems no matter what. Granted, Max drives like a complete sociopath. So, that's probably not helping his power issues at all. But, he really does. He just go, okay. So I think that's going to be the only thing that's keeping Mercedes in the constructors and in the championship overall, is because both of them are always right there, except for that one race. Was it the second race of the season when Lewis finished like 10th or something when he was way the hell back there? But again, Max has been out twice. Perez went out, so they're keeping the Mercedes alive just because they're having all those problems. And I'm looking for I think that Mercedes is going to pick it up, by the last half of the season. I just don't think they'll be able to touch Ferrari at the rate those two guys are running consistently without having any issues. I think they're just going to be too gone for, for definitely Mercedes. Red Bull so far they're behind Mercedes because all their problems so far. So
I don't think Red Bull, as far as championship goes, is going to be necessarily a contender for manufacturer championship.
They already have it would take a catastrophe at this point just because of how far back they are with 3 DNFs so far, 2 for Max and 1 for Perez.
Yeah.
That's so far, like after 3 races, like they've already like 3 races, 2 cars, 3 DNFs. Like that's just not good. So, and
Tell
Ferrari,
you what, I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to see some results at some point this lifetime from Austin. Yeah.
From Mick
Schumacher.
Schumacher. Hey, I will say that it was amazing because I looked up the race again. You know, just when I was typing this up, I really looked at it, and you know, Imola Grand Prix 2022, and related people. There was Lewis Hamilton, there was Sebastian Vettel, and then the next person over related, Michael Schumacher. I'm like, well, we got all these. What? So we got Lewis, we got Vettel, we got Michael Schumacher, and then it goes back to the rest of the guys, and then Max Verstappen. I'm like, cool. What? He's still number 3 in all of that. Like, good for him after all this. Yeah. After all that time, there's Michael still there because, well, I mean, he did go out there and kill it when he shouldn't have. And then he switched over to the devil, which, you know, Ferrari, and it took him a few years, but once he figured it out, whoo, he went on to tear for a while there. So good. But I just think, I mean, again, last year, Verstappen, Hamilton, Lando, Leclerc, and Sainz. I think Leclerc and Sainz are going to be up there. I think it's going to be those 2 in the top 3 with probably Verstappen in there with him, unless he goes and kills another car. If he kills another car, he might actually kill somebody. So, you know, he's not necessarily the most level-headed human being on the planet, which you kind of have to be to actually be, you know, championship worthy as a driver. I mean, we pretty much we have Jimmy Johnson to, you know, disprove that theory. Otherwise, there's been a lot of ranting, raving, well, I'll punch you in the mouth kind of people winning championships and stuff. I mean, you just have to have it in you to, you know, dominate and do that. And I think he has a lot of years left, but you know, and if Hamilton didn't go and, you know, knock himself off course and have to back out of the rocks last year, I mean, Max wouldn't have won by 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Or 20 seconds, whatever you want to call it. You know, but I think it'll be good. You could fill in on everything you got, like, for it. I know I just flapped my jibs, but
oh, you're good.
I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for it.
It's going to be a good race, hands down. So this
Come
weekend,
to America.
On top of what we know already, you have Supermoto will be at Moto America, like you just said.
Yeah. Supermoto. Hello, Moto.
No, that would be that's Superbike.
I'm saying you're welcome, Motorola. Hello, Moto.
Yeah. That race.
Don't worry, I did not get paid for endorsing Motorola. Yeah.
They have obviously 3 days going, but it'll be all this weekend at Atlanta for Superbikes. I'm excited for that race. I'm gonna watch that one actually for sure. I'm gonna watch that whole race.
Hey, thankfully Hulu, like, because I finally had to switch to my own account from Crystal's. I know, hi Hulu, but you can't get mad at me for using hers because I still paid you every month for the last 2 damn years, even though I never used my account once. So you guys can suck it. But now they just switched it to unlimited DVR space, and it'll store it for 9 months. You know what that means? I can record everything without deleting something else and going, shit, because I'll never find it again. So guess what, world? We could start covering all kinds of stuff because I can watch so much more.
So I did reach out to a buddy and got some more information on flat track stuff because I was getting mad at what I could find. And he sent me in an email the actual schedule for American flat track this year. There is a race this weekend at I-70 half-mile track in Odessa, Missouri, for everybody that doesn't know it.
I do love that track. We're not talking about Ukraine here, people. That's beautiful. Hey, that track, though, that track's I've seen some good races on that track. I've had to watch them on YouTube, but they're good.
That'll be tomorrow. I don't think you'll be able to watch it unless you have Flow Racing, if I remember correctly. That one's on Flow Racing. They're not racing this week.
Which doesn't give you a bad deal. I mean, Flow
FYI,
Racing,
I do have the actual dates. The season starts on May 28th for motocross. I know we talked about that last week. I didn't have the exact dates yet.
I'm excited to see that. Like, that starts right after Supercross.
Yeah, right after Supercross ends. And then that, and then all the GNCC and the enduro racing will start as well. Everything starts after.
Everyone's going to start like full tilt. Granted, I get why they do wait, because I mean, you guys were still getting
Well, Mount Morris, Red Bud, and Manila, those 3 tracks, which one of them obviously is in Pennsylvania.
God bless them.
They're gonna be good.
Yeah, they were under snow as of like a couple days ago. So
Sorry.
That makes it difficult for them though, with all that snow. That makes it like, so some of that they have to start late just because you're still getting 8, 9, 10 inches of snow and
periodically. I get it.
Sporadic weather patterns. Turns out the rest of the world is turning into North Carolina.
No,
one day it's 85, the next day it's 35. No one knows what the hell's going on.
I love those Midwest states.
You guys are
this weekend we have NHRA Spring Nationals all weekend.
Watch out for that Force girl.
Oh yeah, definitely. She's gonna be at Houston Raceway Park.
She got her daddy's jeans for sure.
Let's see what else we got running here. You already said the Grand Prix F1 in Italy, in case we didn't say that. I don't know if we said that.
Don't worry, I did. I threw it out there at the end.
I thought you did, but I want to make sure.
After that paragraph of a title for a name for a racetrack.
The E-Series, I don't have it printed off, and I've been having a hard time getting it to print, or get a printer-friendly version, I should say. But they haven't started yet.
Yeah, it's really weird, too.
They got a weird schedule. I shouldn't say that. They've started, but they're in like a 2-month break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a very strange schedule, but granted, they started and then COVID happened. So, well, with everything they do travel-wise, I could see it,
And
difficult. Indy's off until next weekend.
Yep. This weekend, moving back over maybe closer to the racing open wheel here, we're going to not have a race this week for 410 sprints, but there is going to be, it's not part of the USAC series, but there will be some 410 racing down south. I'll cover that next week.
Yeah, it's fine.
Silver Crown is off this week as well. And then I think we talked about it last week, but just in case I didn't say it, first race for the SRX series is June 18th at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola.
Beautiful thing going on
there. Then I'm going to say this because I finally got all of the tracks. They're also going to race after that at South Boston Speedway, South Boston, Virginia on the 25th of June. Stafford Motor Speedway on July 2nd in Connecticut. Nashville Fairgrounds, July 9th. I-55 on July 16th. That'll be a race and a half.
Oh, yeah.
That one will hands down. First of all, I want to see who they pick to be the hometown hero. That guy is going to be interesting. I'm curious who it's going to be. I'm really excited for that. Then the last race of the season will be Sharon Speedway. They're only going to do 6 this year. I'm not sure why they shortened it so much, but whatever. That'll be in Hartford, Ohio on July 23rd.
They need to have, their biggest problem is they need to work better on advertising and all that. Because I never see a damn thing on
Tony's not like
on TV, but if they want it to work,
Tony that's his downfall. Is he's a good old boy, believes in word of mouth, man.
Yeah,
but I think is a fault.
Because I watch all the channels that the races are on, and I don't see one damn commercial ever.
And honestly, when they're talking about even on NASCAR, when they're going over stuff and everything, the only one I've ever heard really bring it up and talk about it is either Larry Mack,
good old Larry Mack,
or Clint Boyer. Nobody from the NBC cast ever brings it up, except for unless Dale Jr.'s involved, he might talk about it.
It's Boyer. You gotta watch out for Boyer.
He's
God knows what's coming out of his mouth, but
there's he's undenied.
They need they need better advertising though, just so more people see it. Because no matter what Tony and them are, if you want it to actually survive and keep getting being on TV and all that and sponsors, you need people to actually know it exists.
Yep.
Which, no offense, again, love them to death, but I've never seen one thing about it ever. I saw the press release for it, and then you actually have to go find it, which I'm really excited. to see who's going to be like the South Boston. Yeah, who's going to be the hometown hero? Because I swear that there's two brothers. One of them has a kid that won at Talladega last year, and the other brother gave the world Harrison Burton. And I swear they're from the South Boston area. That Ward go out there. I still want to.
I'm trying to find out all the hometown hero drivers right now. When I get them, I'll let you know.
I want to know who the hell, like how the hell Jeff Burton. You hear him talk, and then you hear his older brother. Are you sure they're from this? Like, I know you guys are brothers, obviously, but how the hell does one of you talk damn near normal, and then you listen to Ward and you're going,
huh?
Excuse me. But yeah, it's a good thing just because it gives smaller guys, at each race a chance to, put their name out there, which is why I also wish there was more advertising, and more everything, eyes on it, because then more people could see.
Well, outside of SRX,
they're doing.
Highlights those younger,
NASCAR.
Smaller guys is the only thing outside of SRX and Tony Stewart that promotes younger guys and more local people like that is Dale Jr. and modifieds. Outside of Tony Stewart and Dale Jr., you don't really get the ability to go, okay, yeah, I'm racing in this series, but these guys here know me because my name's being talked about. You don't get that unless it involves Tony Stewart or Dale Jr., and I think that's bullcrap. Kind of the reason why I said I think the fact that Brad Keselowski shut down his company, I think that was wrong. I'm glad that, even though I don't particularly care for Kyle Busch, I do respect the fact that he keeps his company going. I'm disappointed in Kevin Harvick when it comes to their company. It sucks that Dale Jr.'s got everything going. He's going, but it sucks that his dad's company failed thanks to certain. We won't go there. Yeah.
We'll just go there.
I just wish more teams like that stay going. Kudos to Chase Briscoe. He's running one hell of a dominant sprint stuff. He always does decent, at least his company in that.
And Austin Dillon has a team down in the dirt stuff too, so I do have to give.
Yeah, I don't remember what series though.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I know he has dirt. I know he has several teams. Well, in different, several different vehicles.
I think his dad's part of that too.
Yeah. Well, better.
I think I'm going to rephrase that. I think his dad being his dad, who he is.
Yeah. I
think that helps him being able to get stuff tied together for that.
But he gets to do that, so he's good for it. You never get to hear about it, but again, he's at least putting forth, the effort and trying to, build.
Speaking of Tony and not publicizing, you never hear them publicize about his sprint races ever.
Well,
I sent an email last week to Stuart Haas saying something about that. Because I don't have Tony's email from Eldora because my laptop took a crap. So
Eldora. Good old. Hey,
well, I should rephrase that. I had his Eldora email, and I don't have it anymore.
Good old Eldora. Beautiful track and shame, but beautiful track. Beautiful track.
I think you're going to see NASCAR in the near future pretty much go back there as far as like the trucks go, because that's a pretty loved track.
History.
It's a really nice track, and Tony's one of the better showmen when it comes to owning a local track too. I will say, as mind-blowing as this little local track that I used to race at when I was younger, Springport Speedway, which used to be called Michigan Ideal Speedway until there was an argument over MIS. Yeah.
Hey.
There was a lawsuit. It was a big deal back in the 90s. But anyways.
There's trademarks and copyrights, tell me.
Springport, their firework display for 4th of July. It's like watching anyone's grand finale for 45 minutes straight. Literally. I mean, it was mind-blowing. I won't go anywhere else ever again. I've been a lot of places for fireworks in my life.
All I can say is I thoroughly enjoy when the trucks were at Eldora and there was Tony, track prepping on his tractor. Like, he just looked so at peace. Just everyone else is doing all the stuff.
There was a beer involved, I'm sure.
There's Tony just driving around his tractor with a big old grin on his face, doing what. Yeah, it's always fun to see Tony smiling.
Tractors and Tony, I love him and Chase's commercials, man. Oh, it reminds me of Tony. It reminds me of Harvick and Boyer Mobile commercial. Just makes me
really mountain of trophies in front of us. How did you
I want to see how many trophies Briscoe actually has, though.
how many? Mahindra. How did you get that? Well, apparently Tony was very much part of it. He was very much in those commercials, and I'm not complaining. Those are good commercials. Yeah, Boyer and Harvick. They're just starts dancing. You're sitting there going, "Is he really moving that fast?" How damn easy, boy. Was he? What, they get him drunk beforehand?
Those two, I could foresee them two getting barred from going out by themselves together in public. I could see that happening.
Oh yeah, I can
Get
see
the
that.
drinking, having a good time. See somebody getting stupid. Boyer having something to say about it. Harvick not being too far behind.
Harvicking.
It's when you'll see old Happy come out. Anyways, back to our list here.
Back to the
ARCA.
at hand.
That's the next one on my list. They're racing the 200. It's called the General Tire. But yeah. All right. So this race last year,
General Tire does. General
Tire
is
let me restart what I was saying.
The biggest sponsor in ARCA. General Tire, like they're all over.
Yeah.
So good on them. But anyway, carry on.
ARCA, for their series drivers that are in it right now, that's raced there more than once, obviously. When it comes to Talladega for ARCA series, you have Gus Dean, Drew Dollar, and Corey Heim. Out of the active drivers, are the only ones that's won there. I got to put that out there because that means something in an ARCA car.
And they're always up front during there's something about plate track racing with them. They always seem to find their way up there.
I will be honest though. I want to know how. Where'd he go? I want to know how Ryan Huff does. I'm excited to see how Benny Chastain does. Nick Sanchez, DL Wilson, Kimmel, and then obviously Heim, Dollar, and
good old Kimmel. God bless.
I mean, to be fair though, I do have to put this out there. When it comes to laps led at this track, I have to send a shout out to Brad Smith. That dude is hands down got more laps than anyone else.
I'm putting again. I mean, I hate to do it, but plate racing in the ARCA series. I mean, it was better at Daytona than it normally is. But normally there's two very, very distinct packs of cars, and you could tell which you could see where the fast, but because they're about 3 years ahead of the next pack because they can be as lined up as they want. They're not catching them, but Heim and Dollar's team, like all of them are going to be right up front. They always are in these things.
Oh yeah.
And they race each other hard going down to the end of it. So I'm not like taking anything away from them. I mean, they do beat and bang and do all, but there's just dominant cars that are there, and you can see who the Venturini cars. I mean, they've won 17,000 in a row at Daytona. I mean, it's just what they do. So they're going to be up there. Good for Wendy and all them. I'm not complaining. Like, if you put together that good of stuff, you deserve to win them. It's like the Earnhardts and all them. You can just see the air. And there's just something about those cars and what they do around plate tracks. So
I think that we don't know it, but I think there was like a spiritual connection when it came to Earnhardt's and Talladega. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to in my lifetime about racing and NASCAR. And when I bring up Talladega, Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. and Bill Elliott's name are always three names I have brought up to me there.
They're the Pied Pipers. I mean,
those are the three that are always brought up to me.
The Earnhardt's. I mean, it's sad. The Allisons are all from there. Name most synonymous with their Earnhardt. No offense, guys. Dale just won everything, and then Junior started winning everything, and then Junior turned into a good teammate and pushed people to victory. Is like, no, go out what?
I have to be honest, man. And this is nothing on any drivers that's raced with them and stuff, but when you look at the Elliots and the Earnhardts, and I know a lot of people don't pay attention to this, but when you go to the favorite driver of the year, if you pull that list up for the whole history, there's 4 names that show up an awful lot. Dale Sr., Dale Jr., Bill Elliott, and Chase Elliott.
Huh.
Those 4 names are on that list an awful lot.
I mean, Dale Jr. won it for like 19,000 years in a row, and then he
He
retired.
did. He got 16 of them, I think.
Yeah, and then he retired, and hello, Chase Elliott. They didn't look back, even though if you go online, the amount of hate that Chase Elliott gets, like
which is mind blowing, because if you're gonna hate somebody that's younger, I'm with some other people. I sometimes question Alex Bowman. I sometimes, in my personal opinion, there's certain things he does, I'm like, if that would have been me, I might have spun you. Just keep that in mind.
Hey, that's what he does. He can't help himself.
And the only reason I say that is because when you have guys like, when you have bigger name guys like Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick or somebody along those lines agree with a younger guy about the same person, there's a pattern.
But Bowman has, I think he's probably got the biggest chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
On his shoulder, like in the Cup Series, really, because he drove in garbage. He went and took over for Junior, and everyone asked him how it felt, to start his first over Daytona 500. He's like, you guys do realize I was here for like a whole bunch of years before, what? I've been around for a long time. Thanks for noticing, everybody. Appreciate it. He had that, and then Junior picked him as the guy to, fill in for him and then be the replacement. And, that just put the giant, what?
I want to give him credit, though, while we're talking about that, because you're very correct when it comes to that chip on his shoulder. But the few times that he's raced for Chase Briscoe on one of his sprint cars at a dirt track, that man has been the most respectful person I've ever seen when it comes to anyone that works for Chase Briscoe or Chase Briscoe when it comes to regards to dirt. I have never seen somebody get that utmost respect to that degree to somebody he's driving for. He outright was grateful. I believe it was last year they went somewhere and he raced a dirt race in a sprint for Chase, and he did really decent for what I thought.
Well, hopefully that was a really good thought, because, hopefully that was a good thought, because this thing should be about to get thrown through a wall. But
we have sound.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, because Junior picked him. That just, and again, I would really hate to know I drove that many years in the Cup Series, and everyone's like, so how's it feel to make your first? My stripe was gone 7 years ago, guys, but no yellow on this bumper. Thanks for noticing me. Appreciate it. If I didn't already feel this big,
right
now I feel even. I just, and he had to drive with reckless abandon all those years when he was driving in garbage, though. He had had zero chance of doing anything good in those cars, so he had to race his. And again, every time he wins a race, there's someone calling him a useless, mindless hack, and I'd be pissed.
I wouldn't say he's a hack. I just, like I said, there's a certain things he does. I do not care.
Ask Joe Gibbs drivers. He tends to like to beat them after they dominate, and then they call them, worthless hacks. And some people just look into wins. Well, you guys do it all the time because something stupid happens.
Yeah.
Denny, you got the Southern 500 that year because your teammate took out Chase with
and that's things. There's certain drivers that brag about certain races, and I'm like, it's happened with Kevin, it's happened with Chase. I've seen it happen with a couple other drivers. It's like you do realize if somebody wouldn't have done what they did for you and taken someone out, you might not have finished where you finished. And Denny's notorious for it.
And Denny's also notorious for taking people out and then throwing a hissy fit when someone bumps him.
That's my point. That's literally what
how many years did he wreck Danica in Daytona, in a row consistently? Her car seemed to shoot off of his bumper into a fucking wall or something, and she's in his face, or let's say Chase. Look how many times he turned Chase at Martinsville and took him out so he couldn't even run for the championship because Denny would wreck his ass out of there. And then Denny gets mad and anyone looks at him wrong. Dude, what? How many races you got by driving driving like the prick that everyone thinks you are?
That's
You
why it blew
proved.
my mind last year when that stuff went down between Kevin and Chase. I'm like, out of all the people Chase should have been having issues with on a track, it shouldn't have been Kevin. I mean, that scenario,
and I think Kevin. I mean, it was just normal racing, stuff, and I mean, short track racing, and Kevin was just having like the worst year like ever for his career, and I'm pretty sure he was just turned up to. He was turned up to a million.
His last year one as a whole, I'm sure took a toll on Kevin mentally because of the simple fact that, well, that's the first year.
He's not used to
not winning.
Used to not winning and not even being competitive. I'm pretty sure he was just.
So for him to get where he was at in that particular race, and then something happened like that, I understand his frustration. And I am grateful that Kevin, instead of using that helmet on Chase Elliott, he hit his car roof with it instead. I'm very happy with that because I don't think that he doesn't like Chase Elliott. He does. I don't think that he has a problem with Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I think there's a respect level between them.
He could have really changed things.
Yeah. Hey, and Chase didn't swing at him. He didn't swing at Chase like everyone handled it. Like adults, and he hit his car instead of hitting someone else. Which, I would throw. I was waiting for
progress for Kevin.
But yeah, so much hate on Chase, and when I met the guy,
which doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. That's what I was getting.
I met the guy. He's a super chill dude. Like, sorry, what? Why? Because he came
I'm sorry,
in, and he was
his dad's Bill Elliott,
and he was a high school senior, so he's going to school during the day through the week. And then he was running the Xfinity cars, on the weekends, and he won the championship to include his first ever trip to Darlington, dominating that. There's talent there. There's people that they put in. Here's an example: Michael Annett. How long did he run in the same equipment? How often did he win? Anything. Guess what? Enough said. You're welcome, America. Even if they're in really good cars, they can absolutely suck. Look at the guys. Let's see, Austin Dillon for driving for Childress in the Xfinity Series. He won championships. Tyler Reddick. Look what he did there. Ty Dillon. One race that I remember. One. What? Sometimes it doesn't matter if you're in really good equipment. If you're just terrible, you're just terrible. All right.
Agreed.
Can't fix that. Can't fix that at all. But we've been super sidetracked by making fun of Ty Dillon and idiots. This is fun to make fun of Ty Dillon again. Good on him. He got a top 10. He even won that heat race. I'm like, goodbye. Like, Nhra, what? You're ahead of me.
Hey, is that the truck race?
That's this weekend we're only running Xfinity and Cup last time I checked. For NASCAR. The Ag Pro 300. That's the Xfinity race, my brother. And I didn't even write down the results from last year. Want to know why? Because it's Talladega, and all 10 of those guys can get taken out in one fell swoop. So the results don't matter. I will tell you that Jeb Burton got his first career win then, last year in that race. And Brandon Brown was up there. 3 of the guys that were in the top 10 aren't even in the series anymore. They've moved up to the Cup. So they're gone. And again, one wrong move can take half the field out. So
is Dale Jr. racing both races this weekend or just one?
Just one.
Okay.
I don't even pay attention that he was racing. See, I was more worried about his stuff that he was, stuff he said about, covering races. Like, I was paying more attention to his comments on that. But obviously, before we get to that, junior motorsports and the college guys, they just, bar none, they're always, run together. The college guys are really fast and you get them lined up. There's really no beating them. Look at Haley last year. He was all these years. Dinger, Jeb Burton, I'm pretty sure was driving in that race for them and got that win. They're just good there. There's something about them. They've gotten better everywhere, obviously, but their first strong suit was plate tracks. So they're obviously going to be up there, and I'm sure Ty's going to be up there and cause
look out for Josh Berry. That's all I'm going to say.
He's going to.
I've seen him in a mod there before.
I'm sure Ty's going to endorse Sam Mayer into a wall, and then all hell's going to. That's what Ty Gibbs is talented, obviously, but
Sam Mayer just Just needs to.
But that comes down to what I was saying about Junior and his comments. And I did hear him say, look, they hate each other. Look, they legit do not like each other. They're going to run into each other again and probably a few more times this year. They actually hate one another. I'm like, that's reassuring. Good to know, buddy. And then when he said that he doesn't want to cover Xfinity races this season, then he doesn't want to do any Xfinity races. I saw a lot of people losing their minds about it. Like, why? Like, he said he doesn't want to do it because if there's another situation like Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer, there he is as the owner of one of them, and he has to talk with the microphone in his hand. He said, I don't want to be in that like situation.
Yeah, do you blame him?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I fully agree with it. Like, you don't want to be the guy in that situation. And look what they're doing with the truck. Look what Fox has done. Fox has a rotating person for the Cup, and they have guys help with the truck and Xfinity races from the Cup Series talking during them. Like, just have Cup guys go in there to replace Junior every week. I mean, I think Fox has done really good with that this year, having a rotating cast of crew.
Tony's called races up there in the booth, and when Chase Briscoe got into some issues in that race, he kept his mouth shut.
Yeah,
good on him.
Yeah, put yourself in that. Like, it's just, I get it, but Tony's
got probably a little bit more.
Tony did a good job with it. I thought Jeff did as good a job as he could. Chad Knaus, I mean, look what they both do for Hendrick. They've been up there and they've been very impartial.
And if they need somebody to call races, this is just my personal opinion. If they need to call smaller races like the truck races or Xfinity races, you have guys that are really, really great drivers that are doing more than just driving in the Cup Series. You have guys like Tim Feedawall, who's a spotter that could very easily come call a race.
I do thoroughly enjoy that when they have when they did the Cup, they did some the plate tracks that they've actually given, when they're not spotting for a team, but they've given a spotter like a headset and a microphone to report from stuff, just their perspective up on top of the track, watching everything. Like, I have enjoyed that they added that to it. But and a lot of the like Tim Feeder.
But I think people need to give more credit to the spotters than they get.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I loved having the microphone up there with them going, "What here? This is what we see." What? It's not that easy.
That's one nice thing. Like,
I enjoy it.
I know this isn't the same with all driver and spotter combinations. We all know that, but it's not often you get a combo like with, say, Kevin and Tim, where you can have that. What just happened, Timmy? What the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And then there's that, hey, calm down for a minute. This is what I can see. And I told you, wait, you weren't clear. I've seen those.
Yeah. And
I've witnessed those conversations.
Yeah. But also having like the combination of having someone that was as good at driving as Rodney also on that side, like that's just the perfect combination, because you got guys that know how to race. You got guys that know how to work on all those cars. Like, that's a very dangerous, especially because Rodney is like, if you haven't watched it, find the Dale Jr. download episode, his podcast with Rodney. One, it's just weird to see him actually like talk and have some kind of emotion besides I don't know how you stay that level-headed listening to Kevin in the radio.
Well,
I've heard Kevin on the radio. You know what?
I mean, he has to, because look at.
I know. I'm just saying.
His spotter gets hot-headed. His driver gets hot-headed. The owner gets hot-headed.
But like, there he was, like after winning races, he was. Like, I want his blood pressure. Well, that thing's got to be like 12. Like, does he have a pulse? Well, nothing gets him go, but that's a dangerous combination. And again, if it's Xfinity races, I mean, look, they're already like, look at all the guys that have done. I mean, we got the Logano's, the Brads, we got Suarez up there, Ryan Blaney. Like, they've had so many guys from the Cups. Like, they could just have a rotating person every week that has nothing to do with it when they're already at the track with them.
I mean,
there you go.
Guys like Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. I understand why they don't really comment, because of the simple fact that they race a lot of damn races between the three of them. I mean,
but they even fit for doing.
But they would do races. I've seen Chase Briscoe call races already.
Yeah, so have I. Like, it would be a good fit, and I think they could easily fix the problem. So it isn't even a problem if they just do it. I never thought I'd give Fox credit, but when it comes to NASCAR coverage, sorry, NBC.
Dude, nobody's got Fox when it comes to NASCAR. Nobody.
Fox has it better. Fox does it better. NBC is just a bunch of picture in picture and commercial.
Well, how many
breaks.
times have I said at the end of the Fox part of the season, I go, man, I wish they get rid of NBC within this one or two races.
Like, it's not even like we're watching like what at the first race they do it. It's like, yay, we're gonna watch picture in picture for more. Why? Because you have a commercial break every 14 seconds.
Well, I mean, I've said this before. The only person that ever gets on there and does it that I like from NBC is Dale Jr. Very seldom do you have anyone else other than him that's even you can even stand to listen to. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I get back. And Mikey, you can't forget Mikey.
Yeah, but he's on Fox.
He's on the pit road.
He's on Fox though.
Oh, that's right. He is on Fox. So no, yeah. So you got Dale Jr.
They got what is it, Rick Allen?
Okay, yeah, they do have Rick.
He got the job because of the voice. No offense to him.
But I mean, you go outside.
They have Jeff Burton who has experience, but I mean, otherwise you got like what Rutledge. You have the lady that ingenious. Yeah, the lady that ingenious. Yeah, but you never see him. You always see him do some stupid like. But I mean, they have the lady that started a whole entire movement for Brandon Brown. You know what I mean? That's all I'm gonna say. But I don't know. I mean, she's definitely not that deaf. There was definitely someone in her ear trying to make them save.
Pretty sure that was her way of not letting that get political.
Yeah. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, lady.
Totally not what they said, but okay.
Yeah, and then they said it even. Then they started yelling even louder. And guess where that all started, everybody? Talladega, Alabama. We're going back. America, but
before I forget to say this,
and I miss how Kyle Petty and like I never thought I'd say it, Dale Jarrett, even though Dale Jarrett's talking all kinds of trash about Chase Briscoe in the movie made. What? He was going for it. Like he knew he wasn't going to make it. Reddick knew he wasn't going to make it. Everyone knew he wasn't going to make it. But sorry, like that might have got you punched in the like. Sorry, Dale. Like as Tyler said, he was I shouldn't have let him get that close because he was way back there. He was way back there, 5-6 to go. I shouldn't have let him get to my bumper in the first place. I should have done things better. Even though Chase is like, I couldn't have drove the car any harder those last couple laps. Like you don't say, you went from this far away to this far away. But back to NBC. Like I mean, I guess Kyle Petty and Dale. I like them. Doing
Jeff Burton's kind of funny though. I have to give him that.
But it's just the way they present it and all the commercials, just everything they do. It's not up to the quality.
Well, not only that. If you look at Fox,
the broadcast isn't the same quality as Fox.
Exactly. But you look at Fox, and anytime something happens during a race on Fox, who do they have that can immediately explain it and problem solve right off the bat?
Done.
Larry Mack.
No, he's coming out of retirement tomorrow, by the way, boys and girls. But he's back.
His ability to know things like that, his stat capabilities is. I'm a guy for stats, but I don't know anyone, including myself, that'll ever meet him when it comes to stats and background knowledge because the dude can just.
It's all up there still. And he's coming out of retirement. I never said I was retired. I just took an extended hiatus. Well, that's one way to put it. Okay, 20 some years. I mean, I get it. That's and he's doing it for Earnhardt. So, old gravel, Jeffrey.
Yep.
God bless them. Hopefully they do good. But their broadcast again. No offense to them. There's just something about NBC that just feels so much ridiculously overly done. If that makes sense, it's overkill.
With the Xfinity Series, before I forget to say this,
the wheels
out of all the active drivers in the Xfinity Series, the only 3 that have wins at this track. Brandon Brown, Jeff Burt, and Dale Jr.
Well,
but I don't remember what race he's racing this week, and that's why I'm bringing him up.
Go get him, Brandon.
So
he's been actually go get him. Just because
there's that.
Hey, I don't give a damn anything about it. I like watching small teams that shouldn't even be there win races. I was all about Clemens when they were still, all those years ago when he was winning road races. When they were still like. I mean, they're still a small family team, but whenever little guys do good, I feel good. Jim Burton got his first win. I felt good.
Al got your out either.
Oh, I never count him out, or Noah.
He's led a lot of laps this track. I just want to put that out.
Noah's going to take himself out. Dinger's still up there though, and those colleague guys are always right up.
I never count Dinger out. Dinger is low. Dinger's Dinger. He's in his own little world.
Dinger is Dinger. What's he doing? He's doing Dinger things. Yeah, and everyone gets it. Like he's doing. I really appreciate them just for giving him, the opportunity, and look what he's turned it into. I mean, he got his second chance, and he's not letting.
I stand by this, dude. I think he likes the Xfinity Series better than the Cup Series. I really do. I don't know if it's the car, the environment of the people. I don't know what it is, but I really think he likes that series better than the Cup Series. But who's the guy he's sharing the Cup car with? Because him and another guy are sharing the College Cup car this year. What's the other guy's name? I don't believe I'm having to say that.
I know Noah's done, like, there's a bunch of guys. Noah's done a few races in that car.
But there's him and somebody else that's doing the primary race.
Noah just did the dirt race at Bristol, actually, for the college guys in that car. So
it'll come to me.
Yeah, it'll come to you, I say. But they have good talent that's sharing. There's a few different ones that are sharing, the wheel in that car, and they have really good talent in there, which again, I give Colin credit. Like, look at the talent pool you have that'll work with it. You have that will work with you. I mean, from where they started from, I mean, they already have more Cup wins than some teams. Like, they weren't even full time yet, and they already at one point had more wins than 2311 still does at this point. And before
only I can say for 2311 is thank God for Kurt Busch. That's the reason why they had to start another second car, because they couldn't make money off Bubba. I'll put money on that.
I have to watch Zombieland now. Thank God for rednecks. Yeah,
I'm sure we're gonna get a letter now, some cease and desist letter. Don't ever use his name again.
Don't talk trash about Bubba. Hey, I had very nice things to say about Bubba for a very long time.
I will talk trash all I want about Bubba as long as his teammate and his owner is Kurt Busch and Michael Jordan. I will say what I want, because that's not Michael Jordan. That's not Kurt Busch. And honestly, it's not Denny Hamlin. So I'm a little confused.
Hey, we all know. I'm just going to leave it out.
We're going to leave it there.
And all you people on Facebook that are putting all these things, guess what? Go back. Sorry. It was cleared by the Fed, by like all 20 million FBI agents on Tuesday. And guess what? He was still running his mouth about, like, he was still a victim of this, that, and the other thing. Weeks after it was done, still talking about it like he was a victim of an alleged hate crime on what the FBI sent 1 million officers down there. Guess what? It wasn't, and he still ran his suck and played the victim card even after it was disproven. And and I wouldn't. If he didn't play that card, still to this day, I'd be nicer to him. But he's still going there. So,
and I just want to put this out there. As far as
talent before that,
Bubba goes,
he was more talented.
Guys like Matty D that get shoved down in the series. Then there's people like Harrison Burton that get pushed up in the series, which they probably shouldn't have. And then there's guys like Bubba who absolutely do not deserve the ride that they have. Not saying they don't deserve a ride, don't deserve the ride they have.
And I'm not saying that off of who it is.
You look at that, and it's like
it's finished. It's performance based. My hatred for him having that ride. And we all know why he suddenly got thrust into, like, again, I'm not trying to be that guy, but off of, like, we've seen guys go into more garbage equipment that got called up way too early and get thrown back down after 1 year. They don't get a second year. He's going to get a third year and a fourth year, a fifth year. Like, it's going to keep happening. Like, John Hunter went pushed to garbage. Anthony Alfredo got pushed into garbage. They both got washed back and were lucky enough just to get a few races here and there. And luckily, John Hunter had Kyle Busch to let him back in the truck.
That's what I'm saying. John Hunter Nemechek, hands down, day in, day out, will always drive better than Bubba Wallace. Michael, Matty D will hands down always drive better than Bubba. He's proven that in the Cup Series. He's still in the Truck Series now. I'm just saying that I feel like after this season, that's 2 seasons with Bubba Wallace, 1 lucked out win.
Man, that's what everyone said about Joey when he got his first career win in the rain.
I'm just saying that.
That's what everyone called it. That's what everyone called it when Buescher won at Pocono in the fog, Or when Logano got his, first career, I'm saying he got his first career win, rain shortened race. Everyone goes, yeah, but it was rain short. It's still a win. Yes, it is still very much a win. But
those guys, how many more races did they go before they won another race?
Well, Chris Buescher, well,
exactly.
Still waiting on that, but look who he drives for. Logano, well, it might have taken him a little bit of time, but he sure has figured it out after he left Gibbs. What do you know?
The one thing I can say for Bubba in defense of him is he's lucky there's a guy named Recchi racing.
But
as long as Recchi's racing, I can't say he's the worst driver out there because Recchi is an expert at wrecking.
No, that's why he has the worst name ever. And Ricky, it's really easy to change that. It's like Wally Dallenbach. Wally to the wall and back. Like he went in with boing when he hit everything in his damn path. And he just happened to have a name where it fit in perfectly. And
also, speaking of other guys to think about that's not like promoted there, there was a couple other guys. Noah Gregson's done decent there, which we all should know that.
Don't worry, I mentioned before we started that. Watch out for him. It's just, he's either really good or he causes.
Should Ross Chastain race in the Xfinity Series? He's led laps there.
Oh yeah.
I said Justin Allgaier.
Always. Again, the junior motorsports guys are with
Hertz could do good there if
he was fifth last year. So
that's what I'm saying. Like he's good there, so he has the ability to.
That's why I didn't even I just wrote down watch for Colligan Jr. and I'm not writing down the results from last year because we could be on lap 3 and all of that can mean absolutely nothing. Yeah, it goes from bad to oh no real fast there. So I didn't waste my time writing it down because all of those guys might not even make it to the finish.
And the other one I was going to say is, should John Hunter Nemechek run in this race? Watch him.
He's good in everything. He got shafted in the Cup Series again. Look at all the people that got washed out. And
yeah. And Bubba's still got to ride. That's the thing that bothers me the most.
Just like Ty. He still somehow has a ride, but why? Because no offense to Mike. No offense to.
Oh, I like Mike, but his kids, I don't like them. I'm like Kevin Harvick. I absolutely like Mike.
I have less of a problem with Austin. I have less of a problem with Austin because he has come through and won. Been competitive.
I'm not saying he hasn't won races.
And he's been competitive at
better than his brother.
Yeah, he's at least showing up.
But I have to say, there's still some disgust for me over how certain drivers, not just Kevin, certain driver and people even got treated at RCR. But then you talk about a waste of an investment to me.
Grandkids, what do you know? Boom.
I'm just going to put it there. That to me, as a business move, was a waste of an investment. Just my opinion.
Again, at least thankfully he had, Austin's driving up there in that car.
But I don't want to take from them. Ty and Austin have done good here and there. I won't deny that.
Austin's far superior.
It's just for me, I look at it and go, man, RCR really, really let themselves down.
They've done a lot of people dirty.
Well, yeah, look how many guys. Look how much it changed between 13 and 14.
Yeah. Look at the fire that was burning inside of Kevin that year. What he was.
And look at the change in 2001 from Daytona till Kevin winning. And then all the guys that were involved with Kevin, it was like they dissipated him. It was like they just ruined the whole picture. It was like, why?
Hey, all I'm gonna say is
I'm sorry. I know Dale Jr. was in a situation where he was like, okay. I've heard good and I've heard bad about that whole scenario, how it went down. I'm sorry, but anyone that has a problem with Dale Jr. not taking his dad's place, they can kiss my butt. I'm going to leave it there because I have nothing nice to say about that. Yeah, secondly, Kevin came back and 3 races later, won in Dale's car. So I don't care what anyone says at RCR. For the things to go down that next 6 years after 2008, 2007 timeframe, that 6 years, any negative that came out of it solely bears responsibility on RCR as a whole, not not the drivers, not the crew chiefs. I'm putting that on Mike Dillon, Richard Childress, those guys. And don't get me wrong, if you take that part out of the picture, I do like Richard Childress on other reasons, just because he's a good old boy. There's certain respect I have for him. I do have respect for him, and I have respect for their original engine shops. I have a lot of respect for that. But today, I really just been disgusted with him as an owner in NASCAR because of their decision makings. But I do still like him as a person, as a driver.
But
not granted, he was nowhere near Dave. I mean,
yeah, but Ty sucks. That's where I'm going to leave that. Ty sucks, and somehow he keeps weaseling his way into rides because of who he is. Because trust me, it's not based on performance.
Yeah,
on
no. And
Anyway.
that, where's this one at? Is this the Cup Series? Yeah. And you can simply see what you just said right there. As a matter of fact, I don't even think he's on the side you're seeing. No, he's not. This is all the active drivers. There's the front. I'm going to show you where Ty Dillon is.
Oh, look at you, double-sided. Watch out.
Fourth to last.
Yeah.
On stats there.
He's been
That's
driving
not good.
He's been driving for all these years. I mean, he's just never done any.
I'll give you an example. He's got 1,527 laps ran at Talladega in the Cup Series. Ty Dillon does. Out of those 1,527, he's led 10.
Ooh. Thank you, Green Flag.
He's got 8 races there. He's got 1 top 5. Hold on, I'm trying to line here. Yeah, he's got 1 top 5, 2 top 10s. You can go. Who's the shittiest dude on here? I want to see like 0 zeros and 18. Here we go. There we go. Landon Castle's got 18 races at Talladega. He's never won one. He's got 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 3,104 laps. And he's only led 3. But he's done better.
And he's been in the most garbage. Like he's been in much far worse equipment than Ty Dillon has ever.
For double the laps at that.
Yeah. Like he drove much worse garbage.
Just saying.
Ty Dillon's actually, I mean, the 13 car, Casey Mears, like David, like all of them, David Reagan. There you go. He was like that whole team. Like they all
look at the Eric Jones situation.
Yeah.
He's been in and out of. He's had one good car. I feel. I don't think he should have got pushed up as fast as he did. No. Personally,
look who was doing the pushing.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, when you look at him, he's been shit on. He's had teammates that, truthfully, if I was their teammate, I probably would have punched him square in their mouth, i.e. Martin Truex Jr. Yeah. He's lucky I was not his teammate and in that shoes when he made that comment right there next to Eric Jones. Moving on past that. Eric Jones has been in a lot crappier equipment a lot longer. And he I'm not saying it. The document right there says it. He has performed better than Ty Gibbs. That's all I'm going to say. So that's where I'm at with Ty Gibbs and Austin, or Ty Dillon and Austin. Not Ty Gibbs.
I don't like Ty Gibbs anyway.
Well,
I think he's a tool, but
kind of the same concept. I'm just going to leave it there.
Well, I said the same thing. Like I think you're just harder on Martin, just
because people. That argument for me started back when he was racing in ARCA. Everybody used to go, "Oh, Ty Gibbs this, Ty Gibbs this," and I'm like, I said it. I heard twice Brian Deegan say it publicly. The only reason he was winning races in ARCA was because Joe Gibbs Racing was setting his cars up.
And when you're getting the top,
all I'm saying.
And at that time, when you literally have the top Cup team giving you equipment,
and the only one that's got a Cup team help
in that series, what for where
I shouldn't
everyone,
say I lied. I'll shut up
because there's a bunch of
you can't. I say that because Kevin Harvick has as driver to driver consoled Haley Deegan. Yeah. So I'm not going to say there's been no help, but to that degree,
it wasn't like the whole entire team coming down and
Yeah,
giving him
you
all
see
of his
Rodney
equipment,
Childers and Tim Feedawall and all them guys sit. I'll tell you that he has called for just Timmy though.
giving you your car and just giving you everything, so you're miles ahead of everybody, especially in the ARCA series. No offense, there's a lot of lesser funded teams down there, and then suddenly you got the powerhouse of Gibbs going, here you go, what we got you, Ty. Like, go.
Well, I'll be honest.
Yourself.
If Kenny Schrader
there's
still
a difference.
owned an Xfinity team or an ARCA team and had to deal with something like that, don't think he wouldn't say something.
There's less of a there's a big difference between giving them a whole car and supplying all their equipment for a big team like that, and having Kevin or them go down and say, here, you should do this, you should do that. And
the crappy part now is for those guys in the ARCA series, they don't have anyone like Kenny Schrader anymore. So they don't have a name that is known to that degree and going, hey, no. So for me, when I look at it like that, I say, where's the fairness in all those drivers, all those team owners, all those crew chiefs, the pick? Those guys don't have an advantage against it. They don't even have a chance. I'm sorry. There's drivers in that series that I absolutely love, but when you bring Gibbs down, there's no chance for them guys. I'm sorry.
Game changer. Total game changer.
Anyways, carrying on back to the NASCAR Cups.
Yep. Hey, it was a total game changer. And and the whole Martin Truex thing. I mean, no offense. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
But that chip, I will give him credit. That chip on his shoulder no longer exists.
I mean,
and I think it goes back to the season in 2020 where him and Kevin.
Yeah, but Martin though. I mean, in his defense, I mean, he was out there in Furniture Row. He was far away from everyone. Him and his crew chief wanted nothing to do with going to Gibbs. And they won the championship. They almost won it in their last year there, and then they had to move over. Like, what? We don't want to be here.
I'm just saying.
We stated
when your teammate
we don't
is young
want to be here
and is willing to help you. If you can't, because the race I'm referring to in the interview I'm referring to is when Eric Jones would have won if his teammate would have been a real teammate.
Hey.
And I'm going to leave it at that because Martin was in the wrong.
I've seen people wreck their teammates.
And then make the statement he made in that interview. Man, he's lucky Jamie Little was there and it was Eric Jones and not me.
Hey.
I'm serious. I don't get mad because racing is racing. But Martin Truex was not contending and Eric Jones was. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Again, different time.
Because if it would have been the other way, you and I can both agree, Steve, if that had been the other way, you don't think Eric Jones wouldn't have helped him?
Also, though,
I mean, before up to that race, I should say. After that, no.
And I mean, look at where Gibbs was looking to dump, Eric back then anyway. So there could have been some more stuff to it that we don't know about because he called Eric up way too early because that's what they do. At least he put him in his own equipment when he got him called up way too early this time. So that was a nice change of pace. They didn't stick him off to some dumpster fire of a team that he couldn't be competitive with. So at least he did that much good for him. But I mean, there could be all kinds. All I know is he's grown up, and Eric's better off for leaving them because again,
he's another example, like you were saying. Another one of your guys that'd be a great example.
He's just like, I mean, look at them all. Logano, they called him up way too early when Tony left, and look how long it took him to actually
honestly
be competitive.
The best example, minus his first two team owners, is Kurt Busch. The only reason I say minus the first two team owners is because he had an anger problem at that point in time. I'm not saying he doesn't still have them, but he had an anger and filter problem at that point in time. Otherwise, he'd probably still be at Penske.
He had way more than an anger problem. Oh my God. Go back and listen to his radios from those.
I'm just saying anger and filter problem is all I'm going to say.
He didn't know.
No saying. I got no room.
He was his own worst enemy. Actually saying that's probably going to get me in trouble too. But like, yep, you got suspended right after that. Saying that's probably going to get me in. Yeah, it did. Next one, I'll punch you in the face. But like, yeah, it's too late. I did like how he got interviewed. He made sure that he had a clock over his head the whole time. So, whether that there, why? No one can. Then you'll know it hasn't been edited at all. But this is all coming out, and you can't make me look like kind of like Pierce Morgan trying to edit, the video to make it look like Trump walked out when Trump's like, "We recorded it too, asshole." Anyway, this thing gets marked as explicit by Google Podcasts every time, which I don't understand how. Like there's ones where I talk way worse that they get away with. But anyway, Brad won last year. Brad's not winning this year. I think it's going to be more of Gibbs working together, Hendricks working together. Like it's going to be the same, manufacturers working together and teammates until, we get to the end, because that's just the new game at plate tracks. Everyone just gangs up and gets as strong a line as they can. I think I want to see what Ford's going to do, because their motor package, is normally, good on the plate tracks. Like they always seem to do.
Oh, if you're going to go that way with it, you're going to throw Ford out there.
Oh, their motors. But Hendrick, has the speed. I just, Ford though. They have a good motor package with all of that. They don't necessarily get the finishes because, well, when bad things happen and your whole all your cars are straight in the line, well, that could lead to bad things.
Just don't count Kurt Busch or Kevin Harvick or Denny Hamlin or Brad Kay out of this race. Those are four I feel like you should be able to watch.
And that's, like I said, I don't think Brad's going to win like he did last year, but look how he ran at Daytona before. Like all the stupid, like he looked really, like no matter what.
This will be an opportunity though for Kurt Busch to see if he can contend in the car he's in. This is one of those tracks that I know he can do good at. So let's just see how good his car is. And
we'll see how his luck is too. But he's been at least competitive in most of the races this year. Minus one or two, and stupid things have happened too, which out of your control. But he has looked at least he's at least been top 10. And again, you got to think too. He drove. How long was he driving? In other manufacturers. He was.
He's got 20
Chevy guy
at that track.
But he was a Chevy guy for forever. Now he's over there driving to.
He's drove Chevy, Ford, Dodge.
Yeah, I'm saying like the last couple of years.
Now he's been in all of them.
He's been in Chevy. He was in Chevy for so long. And he's new manufacturer again, whole new team. No matter who you are, it takes a while when you go to a new team. For everything to be fully functioning.
I will give him credit on that though.
Especially when your team
22 top 10s and he's been in that many different manufacturers. That shows his skill level.
He has that many top 10s with. How many? That shows one, how long he's been around. Two, at least he has very good evasive driving skills.
Well, what I was going to say is he's the only one that has more top 10s than Kevin Harvick at Talladega. The only one actively driving. So as long as 23XL is giving him a fair chance to give him a decent car, I think him and Kevin and Kyle Larson, them guys are going to be.
I want to personally see how many of them, like if we get what we normally see from Kevin, where he's up there, he's racing, and then suddenly, nope. You see him just make a hard right and get the hell out of Dodge and fall to the back. They're too stupid right now. Nope. But
that'll be lap 3.
But do we see him? Do we see him try to stay up front though, just because of their current point situation? Just to get those stage points to try to help give him a buffer, as because they don't have winning cars. He has looked better this year, but does he actually have to play the stage point thing just to try to give himself as many points as he can? Because we have a lot of different winners so far.
If he does not win this weekend, he's going to have to start focusing on stage points.
I was saying, like, he's got to go.
Because this is what number race?
I want to say 8, 9.
Yeah, if he does not win this race at Talladega, he's gonna have to start focusing on chipping away at points and stages.
Yeah.
Not necessarily win every stage, or maybe not necessarily focus on winning a race. Why don't you win two stages? Focus on the stages. Get yourself back up in points.
You get playoff points that carry, stage wins. Those go around. Those points go for forever. And guess what? You get 10 points for that stage for finishing first on top of everything, which means if you win 2 of them, even if you don't win the race, you still have a 20-point advantage than you wouldn't have had just for winning those 2.
And I want to also say this openly. Harrison Burton better do good. If not, I'm going to try to send an email that direction.
I'm going to say this personally. Harrison Burton is not going to do good. Hey, I was nice on anyone that's on the Facebook page. You saw what I shared it. Like father, like he's doing his dad's throwback, and I left it at that. It doesn't matter what it looks like; it's still.
I'm shocked, honestly. Though,
Suck.
speaking of that situation, I'm a little confused how Ford hasn't contemplated saying something yet. Like, hey, that's a foul move. They were so vocal about Kyle Larson. Why ain't they being vocal about that? That's losing Ford money too.
No,
I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there. Ford, Mrs. Ford, I know you're alive still and you hear things. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
just like Matthew Stafford. What a.
Hey, don't you like his new AT&T commercial?
I don't know. I don't watch commercials.
Okay, with Lily talking about, even if you've had it for like 16 years, however long he was in the league, and you still love it dearly, but you go to a new place and find out it's just as okay. You get, and he turns around. Well, what? There you are, sharing your love out to Detroit for being there for so long, but trading it in for something even better. Wink, ding, yeah.
Well, I said from day one, since he had been at Detroit from the start, his career would be garbage, quite literally. He is garbage. The only thing that saved him was one thing, and that's Megatron.
Hey, he still put up outrageous
after Megatron left.
He was still putting
Stafford.
He was still he still put up crazy numbers.
He did, but you know when they all were? You can't come to play the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but
dude, I'm just saying, like, between the coaching and Stafford being severely overrated.
I think you're just a hater because
No, I don't. I like him a lot better than other guys that's been there.
You guys have sucked, but I mean, you've also had like 19 different head coaches in all of his years there. I mean, every time he figured out an offense, you got a new one. Yeah,
I do like Matthew Stafford better than other quarterbacks. I need to put that out there because
he's way better than you're giving him credit for.
If Joey Harrington was ever to be in my presence again, I would tell him, dude, you were the worst thing that ever came to Detroit. Ever.
Hey, I mean, let's just go and be honest here. What did Matthew Stafford do when they traded him to the Rams? What did the Lions do when they got Jared Goff from the Rams? They got even worse.
Well, I'm not denying that, but they also have a team.
No one's allowed to. Hey, no one's allowed
to care.
Yeah. Hey, look what Jared Goff did with the Rams last year in the same system. Look.
But them trading, that's my point. You're proving my point right there. Them trading him was a proof to what I was getting at. Detroit should have traded Stafford. They should have changed things 8 years ago. When they still had Megatron, they should have started changing things.
But they didn't. Stafford was that team, man.
But I can say this because I'm a Detroit Lions fan too. Granted, they're not my favorite team. The Detroit Lions have not been worth one penny since Barry Sanders walked away. Put it there.
But
after he left, that was the end. That's the end.
Sorry, Stafford, way better than you'll ever probably give him credit. But
no, I'm gonna give him credit. He has skill.
Phenomenal.
Some of the other people that has been there. I'm not denying that.
He's way better. He was just playing hurt because you guys didn't have a team around him.
And coach, there's a lot of problems at Detroit. Not just
you have different coaches every 2 years. There's no damn players around him. He's playing half the time.
I can't remember his name, but the dude that played handicap under Joey Harrington with a messed up leg played better than Matthew Stafford or Joey Harrington. And they did what they always do, and they shit on him, and his career got ruined because of Detroit.
So I'll just leave it at that. You guys have sucked for so long.
Dude, I could easily pick out all the problems that's come through Detroit without even.
You don't even look. You can't. You're like me with the Raiders. What? Can't look at it objectively. It's like, but you got all this. I'm like, yeah, but we're gonna get up. Why? Because it's the Raiders. What? Just lose, baby. What? That's all we know how to do.
But that goes right back to what I just said, though. That it really makes me question how
Tom Brady could be the quarterback. We could have the steel curtain come back from the 70s. We'd still find a way to screw it up. Why? Because we're the Raiders. It's what we do. Just like
I can't believe Ford has invested this much money and she hasn't stepped up and went, wait a minute. We got to back up for a second here.
See, that whole thing, it spun around. See, but the Fords. I'm more surprised that they've let them fall as much as they have in NASCAR. I don't think they have enough support in the Xfinity Series to do anything, which is why they're pulling people from here, there, and everywhere just to try to fill rides for a year. I think they need more presence in the
Well, I
Xfinity
think old
Series.
Junior too, though.
I think Herbst is like what, the only Ford. There might be like another one or two here that there's like no one. There's a lot of them in the trucks, and then you go to the Xfinity and
3
you're
or
going,
4.
you're going, where
There was
are the
5
Fords?
last year. I think one of them's not racing anymore.
I think Tony should at least have, a second one, because I think it would help
I don't
Riley
think
to
he
have
should.
someone else there.
I think before he starts a second car there, he should start a truck.
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is he's at a point where he's going to have to either start his own Ford program all the way through the series, or he better start teaming up with some people.
I think he needs to. I mean, personally, for me, I think he should do the second Xfinity first, just so he could get someone that's in the truck still that shouldn't be there anymore and move them up to help improve the Xfinity thing and get that.
You're referring to who I think you're doing.
Well, there's a
It
lot
would
of
be
guys,
good for
but
his team.
run it, get the Xfinity and stuff in order before they go and start a truck team, because they're just going to do anything. Get another Xfinity team just to get the cars running where they need to be and up to level before you go and try to figure out trucks as well. That's just my only thing. And there's a lot of guys that deserve rides in the trucks that they could be very good for, but there's a bunch of people, if you look just on Ford's side in the trucks, that are still there just because there's nowhere for them to go, that deserve to go that way. And the only place they go is straight to a different manufacturer. It goes to a different manufacturer, or they get called right up to the cup, and we see how good that works out. Well, I think they should get a second one of those just to help again Ford out. And Riley's looked just he's so hit and miss. Why are your pants on fire?
He could.
You're wearing pants.
Let me rephrase that. He is teamed up with another Xfinity team and a Cup team. He's teamed up with BJ.
But he needs.
So I mean, if he's teamed up with them and it was either to start another car or start a truck, I think between the two of them. And they're probably the only ones, but I think between the two of them, they could start a Ford program in NASCAR. Yeah. An honest one, not
what they have. No offense. Again,
but Tony has said that.
Look how Ford's done. We say it every week. Look at all the guys that they've had driving here, there, and everywhere. All kinds of different manufacturers that they call up, throw in a car for a year, and then, see you later. Bye. Good luck bringing someone else in. Why? Because you didn't do anything. How about you fix?
And when it comes to that stuff
before you do that.
A Ford team that's good for it, just as good as Joe Gibbs, is Woods. They throw away good drivers and keep crap.
I mean, I still don't. Oh, never mind. I can't say I don't understand Paul Menards. And they've stuck around, so I do give them that. Like, Menards has still been loyal to.
Well, no, Mr. Menards,
the Wood brothers.
That guy is cool. He is really cool.
No offense to Paul. I mean, the reason he had a ride for forever is kind of like why Michael Annett had a ride for forever, because Michael Annett had pilot Flying J, and they were loyal to him forever. So he still had sponsorship. So he still got to keep going, even if his performance was the worst out of junior motorsports. Repeatedly,
I don't think there's anyone from Michigan that would argue on the fact, or Wisconsin for that matter, that would argue on the fact of, if it wasn't for Mr. Menards, Paul wouldn't have had a ride because his uncle paid for his ride.
Yeah, like it was bought and paid for. Granted, he has talent, obviously.
He did. Exactly. We have to give him that credit. He did have some races where he was good at. He had certain things that he had a knack for. I will give him that.
He won Road America in the Xfinity Series that one year in dominating fashion back home.
And also, I believe, wasn't he still racing when Kurt was at Stewart-Haas?
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, there was a couple races him and Kurt kind of.
Those were his winding down.
Worked with him.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's good, but he's one of those that, again, we've been talking about a plethora, but they had him. I still don't get it. Trevor did good for them, but again, the equipment wasn't that good. Blaney did good for them, but we all knew Blaney was coming up, so they could take him to Penske. And technically,
I'd like to see McDowell.
Technically, the Wood brothers are the fourth Penske team. They're technically aligned with them, like right up each other's cornholes.
Oh yeah, hands down.
So I mean, that's a Ford thing, but look at the revolving door Ford has had.
Pathetic too.
with front row and all of them. Look at the guys that, the Alfredos and the John Hunters and everyone else that came in, did a year, and they went and brought someone else in. Like, give them adequate equipment.
Honestly, if those guys like we were saying, if Tony
John Hunter,
and
John Hunter
BJ,
couldn't figure it out.
And what's
And
the
BJ's
other one?
good.
What's that Ford team that's down in ARCA? If those three could tie up like that, they could start a good program.
Yeah, like look at TRD. TRD has it. They just do it wrong.
They
Chevy
got an admin problem.
Chevy. I mean, they do. Because look at all of them that worked, that did work together.
Chevy's got Dale Jr. And as long as he's alive and his company's running,
but they got
Carey's alive.
They got Hendrick, big super team, which is tied in with Junior, and them down there, and they get their people, and they, where do you think they got Byron from? Where do you think they got, Chase from? Like, they've actually had a successful, program with people moving on up, and not. I still don't get Michael in that, but that's another story. Good job, sponsors. But like, they've done it good. Ford does not have that, and it's a shame.
I think people do need to give credit where credit is due, though, when it comes to the Chevy side of it. Because if it wasn't for DEI and RCR and Dale Jr., there would be no Chevy program.
I mean, Hendrick's done good
until now. I gotta give him now. Hendrick and Colleague have stepped up.
When Hendrick came in, I mean, he was getting ready to shut down from where he was. I mean, they didn't even want to go to, like, Rick didn't want to send him for Jeffrey Bodine to win at that Martinsville race and go on to keep these, ready to close it up. And look where they've come. And again, they're just good to their drivers. They don't, like, their program moves people properly. And again, now they got Colleague, which they work doing the same thing, giving all these people shots, starting a cup team so that, more people have opportunities. And I've never understood just the waning numbers of Fords. And I mean, there's Ford Performance, but you guys got to actually put something more into it.
Ford right now is at a point where they could either fail in this sport or dominate this sport.
Because right now, all they have, I mean, really, that can even have a shot at doing anything is Stuart Haas, and not even win. The only people that can win right now are Penske for Ford. Then Stuart Haas, all 4 cars. Sorry. I mean, except for Briscoe getting that one, no one's really doing anything impressive. Harrison not doing anything impressive. The front row guys not really doing anything impressive. Michael McDowell's up there getting some top 10. So
the only thing good for Ford this year is Blaney and Briscoe. That's the only thing working in Ford's favor.
I mean, remember when?
I mean, there's no other way to put that.
I remember when Roush was like the super team. I mean, they had 5 cars at one point. They had Carl, Chad Little, Mark Martin, Jeff Burton. I mean, they had Biffle. Like, they had all kinds, and now they're down to just 2 cars, which, no offense. I mean, Buescher's at least competitive. Like, top 15 competitive, Chris Buescher is. So, I mean, that's
he's competitive.
They're just not improving as fast as other guys have picked it up and improved. And again, Brad's in there now, so he put his money in there. And look at his truck team. His truck team was good, so it's going to get there. At some point, I think they're gonna, at least be competitive.
It just bothers me because you look at teams like that. Since you just gave some great examples. You look at Penske. You look at Roush.
Examples.
When Roush and Fenway together, what were they? They were a powerhouse.
They were winning.
And exactly. And they were winning. They split their ways with Fenway. This happened, or whatever they've done over the years. I don't think Fenway's
still there.
I know, but it's not like it used to be.
Not like it used to be. I mean,
just like Roush and Yates, they split up. They went to garbage.
I mean, Yates was the power behind Ford.
I'm just saying, like, there's things that Ford have done as a team. Not even Ford. There's just things teams have done. And you look at it, and you go, you were a 4-team dangerous powerhouse. The only one that's kept their dangerous powerhouse alive is Hendrick. They had some down years, but
they were fixing everything and rebuilding everything, but they rebuilt. That's the
but
thing.
when you take your team and you have 4 cars, then all of a sudden you go to 2 cars and you're just not doing anything. I don't mean to be rude, but that's not a driver problem. That's not even a crew problem. That's a company problem.
Yeah, because I mean, look at Stuart Haas when they went from Chevy, and we don't want to have to be aligned. We want to go in there and build our own motor. We want to do our own thing. And they at least built something that, I mean, even though they had some down years, I mean, Almirola's still running competitively. Briscoe won a race. Could have won a second. I mean, he shouldn't have gone for the move, but then if he didn't go for the move, everyone would be bitching that he didn't go for the move and try to win the race on Reddick. So it's double-edged sword on that one. but he's at least up there. Cole, sorry, I don't care what your dad's doing. Step up your game, little fella. Because
Yeah, if he doesn't get his spot, I haven't checked it in the last month. But the last time I checked, the only one that had a contract guaranteed, and the only other one that's probably going to have a contract, and I'm not worried about, is Kevin Harvick and Chase Briscoe.
Yeah.
There is no extension a month ago for Eric Amarola. There's no.
he said
there's not even a talk about it from what I've heard.
But Eric said he was done after this year. So
okay, well then, so there's an empty car, and I sure as hell hope they don't put Riley Herbst in it.
He's not ready.
No, he needs to just stay right where he's at.
Keep him down there for another couple of years if you're going to move him up at all. Get that,
but that does leave an opportunity for Cole Custer to either change his ways this season, or I don't know what's going to happen.
And again, look where they started in the Xfinity with Cole. I mean, Cole wasn't that good. And then by the end of that first season, he went out there and just killed everyone at Homestead when it was still the last race. And I mean, he was doing really good. Then he got up to the Cup Series and it just hasn't added up. And his other teammates were all winning things. Even Boyer found a win here and there.
Well, I was going to say, then the other argument I've had with people about it is
he
you look at Stuart Haas. You can look at Stuart Haas, okay? And people go, oh, well, that car is garbage. I'm like, no, the car is not garbage. I can tell you right now, in the 10, I've seen wins. In the 14, I've seen wins. In the 41, I've seen wins. And in the 4. And granted, those were a couple of them were other drivers. I will not deny that.
Newman won good. I mean,
Busch did good for Stuart Haas. I don't care what anyone says. And I know it boils down to a Tony and Kurt problem.
Again,
it's bullshit. Somebody should got the chip off the shoulder in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, Tony didn't want him in the first place. That's all I got to say. Tony didn't want him there.
And that's pathetic, because look what he did for Tony. He did good for Tony. He was good for Tony. And if there would have been a little bit better meshing there, I feel like he probably could have done better. I feel like if they'd have done it right, Kevin and Clint and Kurt, more so Kevin and Kurt, but all three of them could have been, I don't care what anyone says, splitting up the teammates of Kevin and Clint was not an option. That was never going to happen. Those two together are just two peas in a pod.
And there was a lot of, they moved around, Mike Bugarevich. See, you're welcome. I got your name right. It's this long, but they were moving around lots of crew chiefs and all that. They moved everyone around trying to get the right thing to work. And they're trying to base it off of but they're never going to have what they have. Like I said, Kevin's in a very rare air where he has someone as successful as Tim Fiedel was racing in the Xfinity Series and everything else as a spotter, and Rodney as good as he was that knows like that. Just they have the combination.
Leads me to the point that Clint Boyer said last week, and he said this, and he is 100% right. Everybody, when Kevin gets his next win, look out.
Yeah,
I have a feeling there's going to be a streak coming.
Yeah, I said once they figure it out. Once they figure it out, though, they're going to get back. They have to. I mean, there's just too many people that are. And
anyone that wants to argue with us on these older guys sucking right now, I got one statement for them. This is the first year ever in NASCAR where they've had rear wheel independent suspensions. That changes the whole game completely. I don't care what anyone says.
Whole new car, whole new suspension. Nothing that you had before notes wise means a damn thing.
But just going to that suspension alone was literally like NASCAR restarting all together with this year.
Yeah, their notebooks, man.
Real independent suspension.
Their notebooks really don't mean
nothing matters. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that.
Not as much. The notebooks still give you some stuff you need, but because
of the new setup purposes and for them guys,
because the rear suspension stuff, when it's 100% completely new ball game, and I think they'll figure it out. I mean, obviously they're going to figure it out. Tony,
what race was it?
Tony and them aren't going to let themselves not win. It's just not going to happen. What they're, they're sitting there at the shop all week, pissed off as can be because they haven't figured it out yet. Well, Eric's going, I'm doing pretty good. Shut up.
Well, I seen an argument a while back with some people on YouTube over a video about Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers, and somebody said that they should split them up. And obviously, there was 3 or 4 other people, not including me. I had no part in it. I didn't even say anything. But I was reading the other 3 people's arguments with this guy. He, 1, got destroyed in the argument, and 2, I think one of the people made a comment like, outside of Dale Earnhardt Sr. and his crew chief and Jimmy Johnson and his crew chief, you won't see another Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers. And that was one of the comments that was made. So the argument was splitting them up would be probably the worst thing they could do for Stewart-Haas.
I mean, it could help someone else. And it was kind of like when Kyle had his, crew chief that he worked with in the Xfinity Series come up, and look what he did that year, won the championship, won all that. I mean, but they had to, I don't think they had to split them up. I mean, maybe those two personalities telling everyone to go themselves wasn't necessarily the greatest thing ever. And Kyle's still like running good with it. It's worked, but look how good he was just when he found that right guy for those few years.
Well, you bring up Kyle Busch.
Can't remember the guy's name. I could see his old crew chief's face.
Alan Gustafson.
No, well, yeah, but I mean, not when he was at Hendrick, when he was driving for Gibbs there, I could see his old crew chief's face. I can't tell you what.
It was the dude that went to Martin Truex's team.
Yeah, the guy was just the most disgruntled. Well, no, he went somewhere else too, because Truex has James Smart, I think.
I'm saying the year they switched. The year they switched, though, I thought he went the first year to Martin Truex.
No, he went straight to James. He got James Smart. Yeah. So he went to, I think, Bell. Sure as hell didn't go to Hamlin, because Hamlin's never going to, they're the protected ones.
But that's an example right there. Speaking of Kyle Busch, though, look at Alan G. I thought they did okay together, him and Busch, but I think hands down, him and Chase are way better together.
Yeah.
Period.
It was.
I don't care what anyone says. I'll argue that one to the day I die.
No matter how good people are, I mean, it all comes down to meshing with people. And Kyle didn't look the best at Hendrick, but look at the people that drove that car that for years, they just weren't there with that car. No matter what they did, they switched shops around, so different people working on everything. Just that car, and then suddenly Kyle got in there, and I still can't believe that was his first stage victory of the year when he got that.
I will say though, speaking of Alan G, I bet you Kyle Busch was glad that he's Chase Elliott's crew chief last year. Because had it not been for Alan G, I think that Jack guy was going to really hurt him.
A big dude.
I think there was going to be a bad day for Kyle Busch in the future that night.
Hey, I still remember fondly Joey Logano wrecking Kyle out, going mock Jesus, put him into a wall. And you're sitting there watching him down, and you're sitting there watching him as the camera's right on him as he's going down pit road. Oh, he's going to hit him. He's definitely getting. There's Joey going, hey, haymaker. And then, Joey's crew jumped in to save his life. He's always had that problem. But yeah, I'm watching like he's going to hit him. He's going to hit him. Like,
tell you what, Brad and Joey
looks like he's getting ready to. It looks like he's going to have a conversation. Like it doesn't look like he's about to have a conversation with no one. Kyle's walking down there to punch him directly in the face.
It's just like Clint Boyer. When Clint and Kevin go running, it's not going to be a conversation.
Nope.
There's no conversation going to happen at that moment. There might be a, hey, you stupid pup.
Yeah, but yeah, all comes down to it. We'll see it again, though.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm glad that Alan G was his crew chief, because I didn't want to see what was going to happen to the Jack guy afterwards.
That was a big dude, too.
Yeah. Because he was going to get in a lot of trouble had Alan G not walked down there when he did.
No, bro. What? No, bro.
You will be gone tomorrow.
It's just moral of the story back to it is Ford needs to get there. They've been down together. Minus Penske, like they've been down. Stewart-Haas has been down since the last 4 races of 2020, when suddenly everything came to a screeching. What happened. I think they'll figure it out though. New car, they'll get it. And when Kevin does,
middle of the playoffs in 2020 was the last time Stewart-Haas has really been good, other than Chase Briscoe.
No, like they'll get it. They'll get it. They just need a better developmental program across the board. Again, I know people, we talk about it every week. This is the most in-depth we've gone on it because we didn't even really talk about Talladega, but they need to build better to get their stuff, because there's just so many other teams for the other manufacturers. Like, why are they doing better? Because they got more stuff, they got more track time, they got more things for everyone to figure out. And again, Stewart-Haas is doing it all in-house. So I mean, there is some stuff they have to.
Yeah, you got to give them credit when it comes to that.
But now they have
their own.
But now they have. But now NASCAR provides like motors and transmissions and all that stuff. So
I'm still questioning how I feel about that, because you want to look at racing as a whole, that starts to step away from racing.
I mean, it does level the playing field, but
at the same time, though, you look at guys like here. I mean, the rules at this track either one of these tracks are, I'm gonna say Jackson. Springport though, the rules are pretty in depth. I mean, yeah, you can use different brands of equipment, but like the specs, they really don't give you a lot of leeway. So I mean, unless you're somebody that's spending $150,000 a year on your engine and transmission alone at a circle track, you really can't get a huge advantage in those specs.
And I also have to come back to like, I mean, I know why they did. It was like why they did when they took over pit equipment and they took over the air gun, so everyone got the same one. Because there were teams like, I mean, Gibbs averaged what? Yeah, Gibbs
$1,800 on a good gun.
Gibbs averaged like a second faster on pit road just because of those guns. Like they were moving.
And that's real. That's no bull crap there. Because I've had that argument.
They were going on and off. I mean, just look at their times compared to everyone else. But
you take the average half-inch gun that somebody would buy in the auto field and put it up against mine, and good luck. I'm the same way right now. I mean, if I was to go against the average person with a gun, unless they're in NASCAR or they have the same gun, odds are my gun's going to beat theirs.
Yeah.
Because not many people have a better gun than what I've got. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that does make a difference. But when it comes down to the engines, I'm like, man, if you got your spec requirements and you only give so much of a leeway, why does NASCAR need to step in with the engines?
I mean, again.
Now, I will say, when Toyota first came into the game, if they'd have done that then, I understand why, because there was some complaints with Michael Waltrip and his outfit. I don't necessarily know if I agree with everything that happened at that point, but very rarely do you ever see that kind of point drop. Yeah. Unless you're Brad K.
But so I mean, you see there's more smaller teams that are at least competitive wise. I mean, look at all those first couple races, how many different teams we had in the top 10. It wasn't just at a restrictor plate thing.
I called this when Pitbull got involved. Yeah, I knew at some point they were going to be a team to be contended with, and look at them now. A few years later.
Everyone's running the same thing. Second year in. I mean, they have Justin Marks on there, which, I mean, he does have
even before Marks was.
I'm saying he was there with Pitbull from the beginning, though. I mean, so like he got.
That's what I'm saying, like
Pitbull has smart people, racing people with him.
That goes back to like Michael Jordan. Look at him. Pitbull is not a sports guy. When it comes to that, it's like winning to him is different completely. One. So you can't look at Pitbull and go, oh yeah, and that he was a winner in that. So this doesn't make no. But Pitbull does know how to manage this, and he knows what produces results. You ain't gonna go see him hire some Joe Blow off the street to do this or that. He's gonna go out of his way, go slow, and do it all right the first time. And that's why he is where he's at right now.
Yep.
Justin Marks.
I just think they need to pick it up, but that's a good way to end it all. So that's my final thought. I have no picks. I'm just gonna say Colleague Jr. and watch out for the Fords and Gibbs because it's a plate track. So as much as we don't like them, but Brad and them, the Fords always tended to seem to run better at Dega. Like Daytona seemed to be more of a Toyota type thing. Just again, they are different tracks, different bankings, different everything. So
Kyle Larson, stay away from the wall.
The end. Everyone else, if you see Denny, watch out if Denny's behind you.
He'll work you.
He will start. But
again, the only person he don't really do that with, I think, is Kurt and Kevin, because I think he knows they will.
He doesn't do it to Kyle either, because Kyle will walk up and punch him directly in the face.
Well, that too. But they're teammates. I think there's a degree there where he knows he's not allowed to do that. Well, to a degree.
Let's just go back to Richmond and look at Ty just using John Hunter as his brakes, even though they were teammates, to get the win. And then, I
told you how I felt about that. If I was
John Hunter, what? I would have walked in, punched him in the face, and said, "See you in a few weeks."
The Monday meetings would not have been pleasant.
I walk into wham! What?
There'd be crap flying for sure, at minimum.
Like drivers don't forget. Punch him directly in the mouth and walk away. It's like, what? Now we'll forget. Like, we're even now.
Well, who was it that said it 2 weeks ago before we got off here? Who said drivers don't forget? I think that might have been Clint.
John Hunter said
one of the drivers said it too, but I'm saying Clint, I think, said that before that race was over. Drivers don't forget. He'll remember that extra shit. In the interview, he even almost word for word said, us drivers don't forget that. Well, I remember that.
So that's my closing argument for it, is we won't forget. But as it's been 2 hours, this is where I have to cut it off.
Yes, sir.
For everyone's hearing's sake. Don't forget, follow along, again, subscribe, follow, share them out, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, audios everywhere. And again, rate the episodes too when you see them, and the show, and rate the show on Facebook, rate the episodes. It helps get more eyeballs on it. It helps everything out, because the more ratings you have, the more it's going to be, pushed out to the world. And I'll feel like a mark if I go and rate my own show. That seems about ridiculous. So,
well, and also with YouTube, gentlemen, ladies, even though they like to flag us, more views and likes we get, the better.
Yeah,
same with all of them.
And thanks for everyone on Rumble, because those numbers are actually way better than YouTube.
So, what's the other one we got our rating from a couple weeks ago? Was that good? What was that?
That was good. Good Pods. Yeah, thank you for everyone on Good Pods. Again, keep doing it there, and then go find us on YouTube and Rumble. You can still subscribe, even on the Facebook page. Hit like, leave a comment. You could do all that. That helps push us up there. But I do appreciate everyone on Good Pods for putting us in the top 6 in 2 categories, and somehow number 125 on Apple Podcasts. So people keep doing it on Apple Podcasts, because I thought they were lying.
I'm still mind blown on that. But thank you, Apple.
I thought they were lying, but don't worry, I did go and look. Went, okay. So thank you for all.
It almost makes having to see that pregnant dude emoji worth it.
I don't want to talk about that. Don't get me going.
And I'll leave that there.
But enjoy the weekend of racing. I'll be back on Monday. Walter will be back next Friday. Don't forget, we do Wednesdays with Walter if you want to jump into the political landscape on Wednesdays and hear us not saying bull crap and cutting back on ourselves so we don't get in trouble. Even though we could never say a cuss word, and Google Podcast still has us with an E next to our name. So we are explicit, apparently. But enjoy the weekend.
We must be one of the best shows on the thing then. If we're an explicit racing podcast, we must be doing something right.
Yep. So again, please, follow along on them, listen to them on Apple Podcasts, share everything out, rate them, rate the show on Facebook, and every episode, because that helps get us out there to more people, because it'll show up more if we're rated more, and it helps us keep doing this. So until Monday, enjoy all the racing. Again, there's a lot going on this weekend. We got everything in F1. Tomac can lock it up for the championship in Supercross. Make sure you watch that. Jet Lawrence, don't fall down, please. I like watching you try to come back, but there's only so many times we can watch the comeback story before he doesn't get back up.
I do want to get the numbers though to see how many people Chase Briscoe passed for last weekend.
Hey, him and Ben Rhodes disproved that you couldn't race it. Well, that's dirt racing. One, you got to, and two, they were driving through it no matter what the hell lap they were on. They came through the field a lot, and Chase did it without a lot of as many caution helps as Ben Rhodes said. There was a million cautions.
Yeah, but outside the caution stuff, they didn't really get a whole lot of help too going through that field. They were just get out of my way.
Yeah, look at Briscoe, got all the way back up there, and I think the next closest to everyone that pit back then restarted in the 20s was Suarez, up to like 12th. Otherwise, he was going.
He made it through the field 2 or 3 times. I think it was 3 times total.
And kept doing it. So
passed a lot of people. Let's just put it that way.
We'll have that number for you next week, and we'll have all the fun stuff. So again, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all the racing. Please, God, lock up the championship this weekend. Jet, don't kill yourself. We'll find out tomorrow at 3. We'll find out tomorrow around 5 o'clock if he does, because they got to go through heat races, like all that. It's a long process, but enjoy it. We'll be back. I'll be back Monday. He'll be back Friday. Watch everything else. And until Monday, peace.